For 12 years, the Soviet Union had a problem they refused to admit existed. A serial killer was hunting their citizens, children, women, young men, 52 confirmed victims, possibly more. And while the bodies kept appearing in the forests outside Rostov-on-Don, the government told their people, serial killers don't exist in the Soviet Union. That's a Western disease. His name was Andrei Chikatilo, a schoolteacher, a father, a Communist Party member, and one of the most prolific killers in recorded history. Welcome to Exhibit a Crime. Let's open the case file. Before we talk about the killer, we need to talk about who he hunted. Chikatilo targeted the most vulnerable people in Soviet society: runaways, hitchhikers, children traveling alone, people who slipped through the cracks of a system that pretended everything was perfect. His first known victim was a 9-year-old girl named Lena Zakotnova. It was December 1978. She was walking home from school. Chikatilo lured her to an abandoned house near the Grushevka River. She never made it home. Her body was found in the river 3 days later. What happened to Lena was horrific, but what happened after her murder was arguably worse. A man named Alexander Kravchenko was arrested for her death. He was innocent. But under interrogation, in a system where confessions were everything, he confessed. He was executed in 1984. And Chikatilo kept killing. Between 1978 and 1990, Chikatilo committed at least 52 murders across southern Russia and Ukraine. His method was always similar. He would approach victims at bus stations, train stations, or bus stops. He was unthreatening, ordinary looking. He wore glasses. He would offer food, or promised to take them somewhere warm, and then he would lead them into the forest. What he did to his victims in those woods was so extreme that Soviet authorities initially refused to believe one person could be responsible. They thought they were looking for multiple killers because the evidence made no sense to them. Here is something important to understand about Chikatilo, something that would become critical to the investigation. His blood type was type A, but forensic analysis of evidence left at crime scenes showed type AB. This is an incredibly rare biological anomaly, where a person's blood type in their blood doesn't match their blood type in their saliva and other fluids. This biological quirk protected Chikatilo for over a decade, because every time police ran blood type tests, he didn't match. The Soviet police were under enormous pressure. By the early 1980s, the murders had been connected. A task force was assembled. At its peak, over 400 officers were assigned to the case. They called the unknown killer Lesopolosa, the Forest Strip Killer. The investigation became one of the largest in Soviet history, but it was plagued by problems. First, the government's denial. Officially, this kind of crime couldn't happen in the USSR, so resources were limited. Information was suppressed. Citizens weren't warned properly. Second, the wrong suspect. In 1984, Chikatilo was actually arrested, not for murder, for petty theft, but while in custody, his blood was tested. It came back type A, not matching the crime scene evidence. He was released after 3 months, and he went straight back to killing. A psychiatrist named Dr. Alexander Bukhanovsky was brought in to build a psychological profile of the killer. His profile was remarkably accurate. He described a man in his late 40s, educated, possibly working in a profession that required travel, sexually dysfunctional, with deep feelings of inadequacy. The profile sat in a file, while more people died. By 1990, the body count had reached 52. The Soviet Union was collapsing, and the killer was still out there. In November 1990, police set up a surveillance operation around train and bus stations in the Rostov region. An officer noticed a middle-aged man emerging from the woods near Donleskov's station, alone, with mud on his boots and a fresh cut on his hand. His name was Andrei Chikatilo. He was 54 years old. He was brought in for questioning. And this time, they didn't just run a blood test. They used DNA analysis. The DNA matched 52 crime scenes. One man. Chikatilo was confronted with the evidence, and after 8 days of interrogation, he confessed. Not just to 52 murders, to 56. He confessed calmly, in detail, almost with relief. Dr. Bukhanovsky, the psychiatrist who had built the profile years earlier, was brought in to talk to him. And Chikatilo broke down completely. He wept. He said he knew what he was doing was wrong. He said he couldn't stop.
Andrei Chikatilo, the world's worst serial killer, was frog-marched into court this morning to hear a judge pronounce him guilty of killing.
The trial of Andrei Chikatilo began in April 1992. He appeared in court inside a metal cage to protect him from the families of his victims who filled the courtroom. He was convicted of 52 murders. On February 14, 1994, Valentine's Day, Andrei Chikatilo was executed by a single gunshot to the back of the head. The man who the Soviet Union refused to admit existed was gone, but his victims remain. 52 names, 52 lives, 52 case files that never should have taken 12 years to close. That's the case of Andrei Chikatilo, the butcher of Rostov. If this is your first time here, welcome to Exhibit A. Every week we open a new case file. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. The case is never closed.